Good afternoon, my name is Tumi Tladi and welcome to my YouTube channel. If this video is the first video of mine that you're currently watching, I'm gonna urge you to watch my other previous videos, particularly this series on version control. I did about 25 videos in total. I'm still gonna do part 4 of CI/CD pipelines using Azure DevOps, so please watch this entire series. It's amazing, and other videos. I believe this video is video number 75, so you can imagine I have a lot of plenty of good stuff. And then if this video it's gonna be helpful, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment if you have any, give a shout out, tell the fellow developers about the goodness of this YouTube channel. And finally, please click on that subscribe button, and then so you can now have the opportunity to click on notification bell for you to be notified when I drop videos, as I drop them daily. Okay, so we are still busy with our mini series called Web API. And then the next series after video number 12 is going to be a major series on Xamarin, where everything's going to come together. I believe it's going to be the final series. So stay tuned for that one. So in our previous video, we did cover, these are the main features of my system on Web API for my system, like version updates. Please watch that video. We did cover version updates, and in our last video we did cover businesses. Today we're gonna do access pins. You're gonna understand why I came up with access pins and what was the intent for it. Okay, before we do that, we're into Varsity Visual Studio. It's been running in idle mode. I hope it's not gonna become unresponsive because I don't know what's happening. Okay, so I'm still busy with our V3 system. In fact, I thought I was going to wrap up a V3 system today, but as you can see, line number 5, we have an issue where I'm pointing to the services. I forgot that this is .NET Core, that it needs the services. So, but I do one thing only. So I was still busy bringing this entire controller in. As you can see, everything is V3. Just to recap, this is where I provide additional argument to say, listen, we need the API key for you to be authenticated. And we'll talk about the best practice. There's some things that I don't like about this particular project. We'll talk about it later on. For now, this was the last thing I was doing. So let me just close these guys and we'll come back to it. And then let me go to Get Changes tab, and then let's hit Commit All. Okay, so now we are done with what I was doing prior recording. So now let's get down to business of today. So we're definitely gonna need the browser because we need we need to do some certain things there. In fact, let's go right now. We're gonna start with a .NET framework, right? I'm hoping that Visual Studio is not gonna become unresponsive. Yeah. So let me quickly go to the browser, and then so AccessPin, it's a third feature that I came up with, right? Not necessarily a third, but I believe that when it comes to mobile application, and I'd like to apologize that I'm unable to run the app right now to demo, but I can demo the web part of this entire system. So Web API is a guy that sits in the middle, right? Middle is the only guy that's able to talk to the database, right? Because my web application, the one I'm running right now, it still need to talk to Web API, but this is the stuff I'm gonna do later on. Web API should be the only thing that talks to a database. This is the best practice. Web API should be the only project that talks to a database. The web application, the one I'm firing right now for the client and for the administrator, they should only talk to Web API, and the Web API will talk to a database. So now I'm gonna log in as test1 user account. So remember this, we said this is my client. This is someone you go to in order for you to get your needs sorted out, your printing and copying needs. Just to recap, this guy, he's the one that has test1, so I'm simulating this, right? So he's my client. You are, however, gonna go to him as the customer. Okay, I'm just gonna keep on reminding you. So this guy here has added multiple businesses, and we'll talk about how AccessPin now comes into play. Okay, so in total he has 11 businesses. There are some that are online, you see, based on the color of this icon and then the state of it. So if you see orange, they are not online, but if you see green, they are online. And if you see this guy being green, the business is deleted. Okay, so because I'm the only one who can delete these businesses. Okay, so let's close this guy. So now we're gonna use Kagishola Papers, this business, as an example. So it's currently online. Yes, it's a demo, and then we're not gonna get into all these, but what I want to tell you is that this business, it has a lot of things from administrative point of view. One of the things it has is the unique business number, right? So this is where now the idea of AccessPin comes in. So on the AccessPin, if I click on AccessPin, and then please note that it is a bit of a bug. There is a bug that's well known by me. Okay, so this YouTube channel is not only it's not only educational for you. It's not only helping other people, it's also helping me to debug my system while teaching, because I'm able to dive deeper into certain things, like looking at the code. If it doesn't make sense, I mark it down, I do a follow-up. If there's a bug, I fix it. There is a bug here, we'll get to it. So the idea is that once that guy has received a request, you know, for a document to be printed, let's say in this case to be printed, and then you, my friend, you somehow stuck into traffic, and then you're unable to communicate with the business or the store owner. So what he can do, you know, my client, this guy, let's give him the name Frank. Okay, Frank, what it will do is that it will create a temporary access pin to be authenticated on the mobile application, meaning that the mobile application has two different features for both the customers and the client. So for him to be authenticated as the client, he will need the access pin. That's the sole intent of this, and it will show that on the web API. But this is the web application. This is the MVC for the client. Okay, so check what's going to happen. So this warning popped up. It says, warning, there are no active access pin, therefore you need to generate one for use on the Identical Docs app. But not only this, I'm still going to refactor my system because it's now excluding the desktop, because I'm still building the WPF, but not yet. I'm still fixing some stuff, also teaching, but I'll make time once I'm done with this new stuff I'm doing, right? And then I'll build the desktop. So okay, so this will be used on both the mobile app and the desktop app. So Frank has 11 businesses. So these are the number of the businesses that pop up. All of them, 11. And the one we're going to focus on, this is the one. So Kagishola Papers Demo is the name of the business. This in parentheses or brackets, this is a business number. He needs this to be authenticated where? On the mobile application, and then soon on the desktop application as well. I hope you understand. The mobile application will require, I'm still going to demo this live when I get to Xamarin series. I'm going to use my laptop because my laptop can mirror my phone, because I'm going to do a physical device, a live thing. Okay, I'm not going to run from Visual Studio. It's already on Google Play Store. So we know this is IGHQ. So let's type it here. IGHQ. This is the business number. Okay, let me do this. Business number, IGHQ. So now, like I said, there's a bug that I know. It says you need to generate a new access pin below to authenticate yourself in order to listen or leave the customer voice message. So I was talking about now Frank has to get hold of you because you since requested for your documents to be printed. That was yesterday. Let's just create a scenario. So now he will need to leave you a voice message. So there is a feature called voice messages. We'll get to it, but it depends on stuff like this. So I'm still going to get to voice messages. I'm still going to get to you uploading those documents now Frank, with this capability of AccessPin, he'll be able to upload the audios, and that will be a voice message. These are the features. Stay tuned for that. Okay, so now we need to say, okay, this is one of the stores, Kagishola paper. So he has 11 stores all over Bloom, right? So with the click of a button, generate. Now there's something you need to note about Web API, because this series is about Web API. Web API should be built based on the needs and the requirements, the specification of the needs or the requirements. So one of the specifications is that this should only last 24 hours. Okay, make sense? Cool. So generate. It says succeeded. You have generated AccessPin. So this is the AccessPin E1JYG2, right? Okay, let me do this. Let's just say this is a business number, and then this is AccessPin. Where to find it? Here it is. So I made it easy to show afterwards. Remember, there wasn't this information. So this is the beauty of me being a programmer. So this is the business number, and this is the active AccessPin, which is E1JYG2. So these are the two things that are required on mobile application. I hope that you're gonna stay with me until I get to Xamarin series, where you get to see how this feature plays out using Web API in the midst. This is the only thing that this guy has to do. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna log out, and then I'm gonna log in as the administrator, and there's a reason why. So let me log back in again as administrator this time. New admin. There we go. And by the way, my system is a role-based system, so I get to see like the tasks as administrator because I am authenticated, and then I have access to AccessPin as along with the rest of the things I have access to. So as administrator, I get to see certain things. So in this case, let's look at the AccessPin. Let's look at the one that's been generated. The reason why I'm doing this, like I said, extensively, I'm also testing my own system extensively. Okay, so how many records do we have in total? There are 9. And then you see we have AccessPin ID. I need this for something. And then we have the actual AccessPin. We have when was it created, for which business. I know this is a bug because I need to replace business ID with the actual business name. For now, I'm only showing this because it's problematic to trace which business. Okay, so this one, E1JYG2, you see, was generated Friday, today, which is Friday, the 27th of August 2021, time 1 minute ago and a couple of seconds, or 2 minutes ago and a couple of seconds. That's the time. So this is an active one, so I can get inside to do more stuff on it as the administrator. Obviously, if I want to de-authenticate it, then I can edit this guy and change AccessPin, so it won't be valid when they try to, But even if I tamper with it, it will show as a new value. But the point is, I can delete it. One of the things that I did to help myself was to check the business corresponding to this business ID by just clicking the link. So these are clickable, and it will pop up a new tab to show me which business. You see, Kagishola Papers. Okay, so I did that to simplify my life, and also I can check who owns the business. I can check their trading hours and so forth. So now we do have this. So this is the use case for this guy. Okay, cool. Now what I'm gonna do, now we're gonna go to Visual Studio, then let's talk about this feature. How does it start? We're gonna go to controller, Web API. I'm gonna focus on V1. So we're gonna go to AccessPin, its own general folder. Please check how I architectured my solution, as far as the folders and classes, how they're being re-architectured. It's a clean, it's a clean thing that I did. Okay, so I'm gonna go and open AccessPin. I need to be patient with Visual Studio because for 2 videos I did in previously, it hung and it became unresponsive. It forced me to use other means. It's fine, but we needed this thing. So behind the scenes, Visual Studio is doing some stuff behind the scenes, and I don't like it. I need to wait for it until it, other than that, it's gonna become unresponsive. It's not just me and my computer that's a bit slowish. It's a Visual Studio, it's Microsoft, and they know this. Okay, so this is the AccessPin. It's very simple. There's only one endpoint, but we need everything that make up this feature, right? So we're gonna start with this line. Do you see this line number 15? This is .NET Framework, just to remind somebody that this is 2-in-1, MVC and Web API. That's why you saw on controller I have both MVC and Web API stuff. It's 2-in-1 project. I risk it to make it 2-in-1 because I was learning something. Okay, so now this guy, it's problematic. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you in a second. Just note that we need access to ApplicationDBContext. So let's go to DAL, Identity, ApplicationDBContext, and let's give it a couple of seconds to wake up. Okay, I need to pin this controller because we need to pull everything that makes up with this endpoint. So I'll come to everything. We need this guy, API routes for V1. So let's close this project, and then let's go to contract, Web API, V1, Web API routes, V1 class. Give it a couple of seconds. Okay, there it is. Okay, well, what else do we need? We need this request, right? So it's on a request, general, get one access pin, not response. This is very interesting. Why is a class named response? Wait, did I see it correctly? Do you see that file? The file, it's named response. This is very interesting. The file is named response, yet it's a request because the class name is request. I don't like stuff like this because then you're becoming a lazy developer. I'll fix this. In fact, I should fix it now. No, this is not right. Request. You don't have to change just the file name. The class name is good. There's a stuff like copy and paste, but can I justify to say there's a copy and paste? Can I really blame copy and paste? No, I cannot. Oh no. Did I cause a Visual Studio to become unresponsive? Okay, at least. Cool. So, but I said we need a class. And what else do we need? Let's see. Inside this method, there's nothing else that we need. We only need these 3 pieces. Okay, so how does it work? Wait, we need something. We need the validator. Please watch my previous videos where I briefly talked about validators, because you're about to see them. Everything you're about to see here. Cool. So we need the validator. So we need to go to validators, V1, general, post 1 AccessPin validator. Okay, cool. So this is Web API. So where do we start? Now we're gonna start with the controller. This line, like I said, it's problematic, and I'll tell you why it is. No, it's not problematic. No, it's not. Okay, forget what I said previously. It's not. So private read only. Please know that I'm still gonna turn this .NET Framework to be dependency injectable system. I do have a dependency injector, which is Ninject. Yes, it's DI injector, or it's a DI container, dependency injection container. So I'm still gonna use it. Yeah, don't mind about this right now. I'm still, like I said, I'm still making sure that my system is becoming robust. Okay, so for now we have instance of ApplicationDBContext. So let's look at this class. So this class is the guy that it's the only one that has a legal right to talk to a database. This guy, we know this by now. And then what we are looking for is this property called AccessPin. So this what created an actual table in database, AccessPins. So we are done with this class. I don't want to open too many things so that Visual Studio can become awoke. And then these. Okay, by the way, I use comment-based approach. That means I put comments wherever it's necessary for the next developer to understand, for you right now as I'm teaching. So this is part of global variables. These are where the endpoints begin. I can have multiple endpoints. You see with let's see, you see with voice messages has about 4 endpoints. Okay, and then this is what makes up a Swagger comment. So this comment, or these comments are for Swagger, right? So here we are posting credentials. Do you see the word credentials? Credentials in order to authenticate access to the mobile app. So we are expecting the status code to be 200, when we post this. But we can also, hit 400, where we get to notify that information is required in order to process the request. This is where the validator comes in. But if it's 4, we notify that no active access pin was found on the system. That's the condition of 24-hour period. Okay, so these are the response types. Cool. We spoke about HTTP verb and methods. Where now we are focusing on post, HTTP post. So we are accepting some stuff, right? And then we have the route. We spoke about the routes when we looked at the contracts. Please watch these previous videos. Okay, so that's why we now need to go to this class. It's a static class API routes for V1. We have the base, and then we have the version number. So we need to look at AccessPin static class. Here it is. So this is what we focus on. So we have a constant variable called the post1 AccessPin, right? So it takes the base, the version number, and then the actual route to the endpoint, right? So now you know. Cool. So I like to group them in one class, okay, for easy, for them to be managed easily. Okay, so we are done with the class. So this is the route in order to access this endpoint. And the response type, I'll talk about the best practice in a second, not now, because this thing is it's messy. Something's wrong here. It's fine. The response type is void, that's the problem number 1. This is buggy, but we'll get to it. Now all the endpoints has to be public, not private, not anything else, public. And then I'm an asynchronous developer, so async task. Return type is HTTP action result, and then this is the name of the endpoint, post1. You see, post, it takes out of after the verb or the method, and then we are posting only one, and then what, access pin, and then we're expecting this request. So let's go and look at the request. Wait, why is this thing named get1? Wait, what am I doing? What's happening here? Why is it named get1 now? We did fix why can't it be post? Because everything is post. No, even the name, it's wrong. What did I do here? How lazy was I? Post1 AccessPin request for version 1. Yes, that's the name of the file. Jeez, I'm sorry about that. Okay, so we know there's a request. I'll come to line number 7 in a second. So we have 2 properties. We have a business number. It's required from the mobile application and the desktop application. We also are requiring AccessPin, and then the display attribute, it's meant for testing purposes. Okay, the display attribute. This, by the way, this is a best practice. So this is the model. We call this it's not necessarily a model, but it's like a view model in MVC, but it's a request because Web API is a version of the system with requests and responses. And now we have line number 7, where we have this validator attribute type of our validator, and we'll get to a class so that we are validating against this request. So this is where we come in to say, listen, I said the best practice, please make sure that you append somewhere on when you name this class anything, just append validator because it inherits from abstract validator. This is coming from Fluent validation, as you can see. Okay, and then we are passing in this type, which is post one AccessPin request. That request we are passing in to be, validated against. See, now my English wants to run out of airtime. It's crazy. It's not going anywhere. And the only thing that we need, like with all other validators, is a constructor. Okay, where we're gonna say now the rule is gonna be for business number and AccessPin. For business number, we are saying the length should be exactly. So as you can see, this is the exact. There we go. The exact length has to be 4 characters. You see, exact length has to be 4 characters. And what do we remember here? We remember that this is 4 characters. Okay, and then when it comes to AccessPin, the exact length has to be 6 characters. 6 characters. So like I said, web API is not something that you just develop. You develop based on the specific requirement of the system. Okay, and then obviously with the message, let's go to global variables. Help us, web API, global variables. So global variables, we're going to focus on AccessPin, where we are saying the business number length should be 4 characters. So this is me telling anybody testing my web API, okay, endpoint, and AccessPin length should be 6 characters. But I need you to note this. Like I said, I hope you're going to be with me when I get to Xamarin series, because Xamarin has, let me just give you a tease. Xamarin has validators also, where I'm still validating AccessPin. Where is AccessPin? Startups. That's very interesting. Don't expose me. Why are we not validating AccessPin client? Yes. Open. Visual Studio. This is too risky that I'm doing. There we go. See, I'm validating business number not to be empty. The second validator, I'm validating business number. I'm saying it must be 4 characters. I'm just teasing you. We'll get to that when we do Xamarin series. So, but this is what we see here on Access global variables for validation message for business number on AccessPin. So now you understand the validator. Okay. So we are saying, listen, we are expecting this object with the 2 properties, business number that should not be empty and should have 4 characters, and we're expecting AccessPin that should not be empty and then should be 6 characters. So okay, and then we are checking if the model state if it's valid or not, and then that will return the beta request. Now the beta request now works with notifies the client that the information is required in order to process the request. Okay, and then this is where now the juicy stuff now comes in. So here's the thing. I chose to use a post because get, remember with the get you cannot, no, with the get you can, yes. Wait, with the get request, can you post this object? Yes, you can, right? Yes, you can, something like that. Yes, but what did I choose? I chose just to return the object. Okay, I don't want to justify it because I can't remember exactly why I chose post instead of get, but yeah, let me not get into the debate. Never mind. That guy that talks to database, ApplicationDBContext, we're going to go to AccessPin's properties. The guy that talks to the table called AccessPins. We're going to use the first or default async. This is recommended as opposed to using the where clause condition. First or default async, because this is asynchronous programming. And then now we want to pass in our condition. We want to say, listen, you need to go to business. Oh, I did not show the entity data model. Let's go and show the entity data model, the actual table. So let's go to general AccessPins. Oh, I forgot. Sorry. Okay. AccessPins, the actual table name. And then this guy, it's a primary key AccessPin ID, as you can see with the key attribute, and then all of them are required. And then the actual AccessPin, when was it created on, and then for which business. And then I use this navigation property because I want to show this businesses where it comes from. So that's what we're able to see here. Businesses, it's a navigation property. And then I'm going to access a business number to say, listen, this business number, the one we know, should match the one that comes in. As you can see from what comes in, there is a business number property. And with the AND operator, we're going to say, listen, now you can go to AccessPin, go and check based on what comes in, the AccessPin has to be the same. So that's my condition. Now, if this guy, because it's an object, as you can see, this is how I program my stuff. It's one, I could have easily said AccessPins, but it's one object. So AccessPin, and I'm going to say AccessPin, if it's null, return 44, and that's what we see here. Notifies that no active AccessPin was found in the system. But if we did find something, skip this condition. And then now we come to another unique requirement of the system to say, listen, let's get the current date and time, right? No, the current date, sorry, the current date, which is the 27th of August, right? So we're going to put it here. And we're going to check, is this guy not the same as the date? If it's not the same, we could not find it. Even if it's there, he still remembers these two guys. He wrote them like I wrote them somewhere. Business number, here it is. AccessPin, here it is. Even if he remembers them, but if the date on the system, it's not the same as this one, meaning that the date that's on the system in this table is no longer Friday the 28th, but it's Saturday. No, Friday 27th, but instead it's Saturday the 28th. That means the date is no longer the same as the current date. And that means we don't know, because then the 24-hour has elapsed, and then and then he doesn't have access to that because this is lasted for 24 hours only. But if it is, skip this guy, go to OK. And I'm only expecting OK for mobile application to know that, hey, we're good to go. But if it's not OK, that means it's not found. Either this or that. But this one, the mobile application will handle it internally, but not found. That means we could not found. Maybe he confused the business number or the AccessPin. We're expecting either this or that. So either way, doesn't matter. So this is, and then we have to dispose this because this is a garbage collection. Okay, so this is this guy, and then I'll come back to it. Now we are done with .NET framework. So now I'm gonna jump quickly to .NET Core, and we are done. .NET Core is different. The only thing I'm gonna show, because almost everything's the same, but there's something that's unique to .NET Core environment. Let's give this guy a couple of seconds before Visual Studio decides to become unresponsive. Okay, what do you see? We spoke about this attribute called API controller, that you should mark your controllers with that guy. And that when it comes to, we did this on this video, please watch this video called controllers. We spoke about that a web API inherits from controller base, but MVC inherits from just controller. MVC controllers inherit from controller, and then there's no attribute, but web API inherits from controller base, and it should be marked as API controller. That's the first thing. Now, do you see that I don't have that ApplicationDBContext as a global variable? Because now .NET Core project is a dependency injectable system, and then my project, it's dependency injectable. Okay, because we did cover that in this video called dependency injection DI on .NET Core. Okay, cool. So then, because we get to be introduced by this guy, so we need to go to this interface before we do anything else. So let's go to the interface now. My interfaces and their implementation, they live in under services folder. So let's go to services, V1. You see, I still need to do V3. And let's go to general, AccessPin, because I like to group them. So we're gonna go to this interface first. AccessPin service. AccessPin's service. So it returns a task of this object. That's the first thing that you need to see, right? And then this is the name of the service or the method, and then it takes in this request. this looks familiar to what we see here, right? It takes in this request and then it returns this object, this guy. So it looks familiar. Okay, so let's go and look at the implementation of this interface, which is AccessPin's service. So as we can see, it inherits from this guy and it implements this method. Do you see my comments? You won't see unused using statements. You won't see an empty line. You won't see stuff that are funny. You will see good, clean code. Okay, so this is the only time where we're going to have an instance of ApplicationDBContext, because it's going to be injected using constructor injector. So the constructor injects the ApplicationDBContext so that we can talk to the table in the database. And then we come to the method, we just have to put in async keyword. And then we know this is a signature from the interface. Okay. Then what we do, instantly we are returning. We're going to await that. We're going to say, go to the ApplicationDBContext, the get that talks to database, look for this table called AccessPins. You see, first or default, the same signature from .NET Framework. First or default async method. And then the same condition. You're going to find the navigation property called businesses, look for the business number, check against the one that comes in, the business number, and end operator. End operator, and finally go and look for AccessPin, and then check against the one that comes in if it's the same. So we just need to return, did we find or not? Now these are the services, so how do we make use of that? So this way we have the instance of that service, and then we use the constructor injector to inject it. There we go. So we're asking, but where did we register this? Good question. We're going to go to installers. We did cover installers in our video. Please watch this video called installers, how I broke everything down into installers. So DB installer, this is where we get to register those services. And here they are. AccessPin, and then this is going to be the implementation of that interface. And it is scoped version. Okay. So now you know. So we are done with this guy. Just want to look at this. Now again, endpoints, and then these are the same comments. But what's unique here are the response types. And like I said, I'll talk about how this is wrong. I just want to do a comparison quickly because we are done with the video. So I'll come to these producers in a second. Public async, the same signature. This should be wait, this one is iHTTP. This is very interesting. Why is this iHTTP? This comes from System Web HTTP, iHTTP, and this one is just action result. It comes from AccessPin Core MVC. Okay, this one should be as you can see, a default implementation of action, but I think the best practice is should just instantly return action result. But I'm not going to do this because, like I said, you don't tamper with what you're not working on. It's going to create multiple stuff unnecessary. So the name of the endpoint is a v1. Did I do _v1? No, I didn't. See, laziness. I need to refactor this to include _v1 because this is the best practice to have _v1. The best practice. It takes in this request. Obviously, we know this request. I just need to change that v to be a lowercase. But I can't make a change because these are two separate projects, as you can see with the check. Yeah. And what we are doing is that, listen, we're expecting this as a return type, right? And I'm just going to go listen, hey, you, go and talk to post one AccessPin, and I'm going to give you this guy. Tell me, did you find it or not? If not, return 44. If we found it, see the same signature where we're checking if the date is not the current date. That's from the system. And then we are returning okay. The same signature. If you want to do this thing successfully while learning .NET Core, how it has been done, don't change the unique requirement. Change these things. How you talk to the database. How you get data from and to a database. But this should always be the same, because we need this guy to know that did we find it or not, because these are only meant to be known from, you see, the controller. Yes, that's it. But make sure that this is how you do it. because this is more cleaner as opposed to doing this whole thing in here. But this is the best way of doing it. Then let's talk about the flaw in the system. Okay, the first thing I want to come to is this one has only one response type. It's wrong. Why does it even say void? So this is wrong. We are retaining better request, but I'm not showing better request anyway. We are retaining not found. I don't see not found anywhere. We are retaining 200. Okay, I don't see this guy anyway, and this is problematic. How do I know about this one? How it's supposed to be? It should be response type yes, and then we're gonna say type of yes, and then we're gonna say, listen, it's gonna be access pins, right? And then that's how we would do it, where we just bring in this guy. There we go. So this guy now it's for okay 200. So that means we're expecting one of them to be this, but now we need to figure out how do we now see. The problem is it can't be void. This has to be for better request and then sequentially, and then there has to be another one that will be for not found. So I still haven't figured out how I do this, but I'll track this thing down and then I'll check how I do it, because this is wrong. Now another thing from is this should be the last thing that shows up as you read your code. This should be at the bottom, the last thing. The first should be 400, which is better request. The second 44. This should be the last one. So I'm gonna fix these things later on when I focus on fixing like these tiny things, because they're important. I'm first gonna figure out if it's better request, what do we do? If it's 44, what do we do? Why is this important? This is .NET Framework project. .NET Core is different. .NET Core, we are using this attribute called produces response type. Now check this. The very first one, you see, is different because this status code comes from ASP.NET Core. ASP.NET Core. So they made it easy for us to access these constant values, variables and values, to say for 400 bed request, this is the guy. And what we do, because we did explain this error response model when we did a video on validation filters. Please watch this video in detail. Okay, so this one is justifiable, it's correct, and it's the first thing that we see, the first line, because we're expecting it's just here, but it's hidden. The second thing is 44. This is correct because the second thing is 44. Either this one or this one. The third one is 200, which is okay. Or the type is wrong. The type should be access pins, and we have to bring it. This is how it's supposed to be. So the void is wrong. So I'm just gonna undo to show you that this is wrong. It can't be void. This is wrong. So you can't fly, you can't do stuff like this. Don't do stuff like this. This is bad for someone reading. Another thing I want to mention is also the comments. Okay, this we spoke about this. Okay, save so that the changes don't persist. Also, let's remove some stuff that we added here. Save. Okay, then let's talk about something interesting. Let me open this guy again. Why is there no try and catch block? Please look at this. Why is there no try and catch block? Also in .NET Core, there's no try and catch block. Why is this important? Because if you look at the services, the implementation of access pins, there's no even try and catch block. This is problematic. This is not the defensive programming, and I don't like it. Again, why is this bothering me? Because what I was doing V3, especially in .NET Core, let's go to V3 controllers for access pins. V3 general access pins V3. Don't worry about this because I still have to implement the services that will come from Monday, because I do one thing only. So the only thing that's unique here, I'm also dragging the API key to authenticate, whoever that's making a request to this endpoint. This is for security purposes. Okay, do you see how I changed things? But still, there's no try and catch block. I want to use this, but there's no try and catch block. So what I'm saying is I fixed it to say, well, I didn't fix it right. This guy should be the first in here. Like I said, I still want to fix this, but it's the first line. You see, 401 unauthorized, because I almost forgot that, hey, you still need to show what is to be expected as a response type. And then out of type void, and another problem is this. Now, my comments for this endpoint, we are saying incorrect API key to access this resource. I should be specific. Let me see if this is possible. I should be specific and like this. In fact, this is wrong. Okay, is it possible that we can return string? I don't know. I'm just figuring things out. No? So yes, it's possible that we can return string, and then we can pass in this guy because there's an overloaded version. As you can see, there's an overloaded version where it takes in an object. So that means string is part of an object. So this is how it's supposed to be. This, and I want to test it. I want to use the Swagger and Postman to test this. When I fix these issues, I've already taken note of them. So this is how it's supposed to be. If you're gonna write what you are, you know, what this 441 means, which is unauthorized, please return this guy. It's allowed, and make sure that it's of type string, like I just learned. You know, but you can't keep on being void. This is wrong. Okay, let's undo these things. Okay, why is it changing this? No, let's undo this. Let's no. I think the reason why it's now becoming crazy because I was working on it, so the commits are still fresh. So undo changes on this file only. Yes. So this is part of the version control stuff, you know, where you don't mess up your code. Okay, because it's already been committed. Okay, now what I want to show, let's go to feedbacks. There's something I saw, something that's very funny. Okay, it's on business v3 about try and catch block. Wait, where is it? Notifications, phone numbers. There we go. So today, when I was now making sure that this guy becomes robust, I was asking, should I have this condition inside it try? Because I don't want you to even get to try. I want to check, listen, do we have a value on API key? If yes, at least we have something. But is it the same as the one that is known by the system? If not, unauthorized. So the question is now, should I have this guy inside try and catch block, or is it okay here? These are the things I was wondering. So I'm still going to do a research to make sure that this is becoming robust. With that being said, I'm glad that Visual Studio did not hang. I'm super glad that I get to show this thing right. I promised that this is good stuff. The video might be long, but I'm showing you good stuff. Stuff like this doesn't exist on the internet. This is a real production system. Wait until you see. No, don't save. Wait until you see Xamarin application live, when I do this thing live. And also, like I showed that this is how it is. So wait until you see that, the pieces. I'm going to be doing this as a client. The administrator will verify like I'm verifying right now, and then we'll do the mobile application. The mobile application will know through the web API. That's why I'm doing this series, because it's a very powerful series. With that being said, I hope that you found this video informative. Trust me, it has for being informative for me, because I enjoy what I do. I love programming. I just love this. This is good stuff. So the next video we're going to be doing, let's mark this as done. It's going to be feedbacks. I'll talk about the feedbacks, how they end up, you know, the users can provide feedbacks from the mobile application about the system, the services. We'll talk about this. It's coming Monday. With that being said, thank you very much. I hope everything was, you know, insightful. With that being said, please subscribe. And till next time.